Okay, so this morning, it's probably around 1 o'clock in the afternoon now. This morning, last night, I worked until 3 o'clock in the morning almost. I think I finally got to bed. Well, maybe it was 2:30 or something like that, getting packages ready. And this morning, I went and sent two massive packages, and I feel so good about it. I kind of let myself off the hook. And then I went to the bank. Um, and then I went and had a falafel. The dogs came with me, and I had a really good conversation with somebody at the falafel place. I probably stayed there an extra hour just talking to him. Um, Interesting conversation. And then I went and I bought some material. I went to the cloth store, and town is kind of halfway empty. It's kind of eerie because of the war going on. Um, And so I went to the cloth store and I got myself some pishtan fabric. It's natural. It's natural. It's not cotton. It's see these things are just falling out of the tree. Uh, I forget the name right now of the kind of cloth that I got. But I want to try to make myself, I want to make myself my own clothes, design and make out of that cloth. It's a um, high vibrational cloth. So it's higher vibrational than we are. So it not only, it's kind of like this kind of material. It's almost the same thing. This feels like it might be cotton, but it's natural material that breathes and that it has a high vibrational material. Um, it was worn by royalty in the past. And so I got myself some cloth and I want to make myself some natural dyes and kind of start playing with I learned how to sew when I was really young. I sew on a machine as well. I talked to my sister. I don't have a machine, but she does, so I'm going to borrow one from her. And she said I could borrow hers. So I'm going to design myself some clothes, hopefully really soon. I also need a new bag. I want to design myself the purse, a comfortable purse. But on my way back home, I stopped and picked up, I ordered a copy of my book. And so this is the first printed copy of my book. And so I stopped and picked it up, and I decided, and I got myself a bag of chips, and I decided that I'm coming here to the spring to open my book and to see it for the first time. So I'm sharing it with you guys. This is probably the only copy that has been printed of my book, but at least I have that accomplished, and I can say I have that accomplished. And it was when I really got down to it, it was so much easier than you make it out to be. Procrastinate and procrastinate and procrastinate. Oh, I have to write my book. Blah, blah, blah. In the end, when I just did it, it just got done. And I'm so proud of myself with that. And I have another couple of books that are sitting in my computer and in Google Docs that I've also, one of the books or two of the books, because when I started, and I think that what I'm going to do in the end really is just take all the writings and separate them into different subjects and not put them into like a coherent one long point. I think that I'm just going to put them in as pieces because that's how it's written. It's written taking a subject, just like my videos are. Take a subject and talk about it. Take a subject and talk about it. Take a subject and talk about it. And so my writings are kind of like that. And I think that what I'm going to do is take all of those and put them together and publish them on Amazon. And just, whoever is going to find it and whoever needs it, just trust that the universe will bring it to them. Yay, it's my book. You hear the shooting in the background. Apparently, there's a place over here where they do practice shooting. Inside the Mind of an Alcoholic. Thought loops that keep us in place. Yay! I'm excited. Let's read the back, like a little part out of the book. One of the biggest lessons that I received from my alcoholism is that when I blame others for the situation that I am in, I have to wait for others to change in order for the situation to change. When I realized that I am the only one that can make a change in my life, then I quit blaming others and took back my power. And let's see what else. I'm really excited about this. Shame. The shame experienced as an alcoholic, or any shame, stems from feeling less adequate than others. I felt like there was something wrong with me because I couldn't control my alcoholism. I was worried about people finding out, so I stopped being social and stopped putting myself in social situations altogether. The shame made me hide both emotionally and physically. Shame is one of the lowest vibrational emotions that you can feel and is the opposite of self worth. I was ashamed of who I was and what I did. I didn't feel worthy of anything or anybody. Even just going to the park with my children was emotionally difficult. Rock bottom and rehab. I'm really excited about this. So it's a really small book. You can see it's a real easy read, like a quick read. I'm excited. It's a real quick read and I'm excited. Cool. So this is the very first copy of my book that was ever printed and I'm really excited about it. So I just wanted to share that. I've been having some, I'm always watching people, and it's one of my, like, doing people watching is one of the things that, first of all, it inspires me, and I'm curious about what other people are doing, and I learn most about myself through the mirrors of other people. And it's always been something that I've kind of been drawn to, and naturally I kind of see people in any case. And I would and I I've been observing, and I've noticed something, and I don't know quite how to bring it, how I want to present it. Um, I've noticed that, see, everything is a paradox. And I've been working on, in myself, working by reprogramming my mind. The work that I'm doing is reprogramming my mind, and I'm reprogramming my mind to, um, rather than going out and constantly trying. I don't want my life to be difficult. I want everything to flow and be at ease. And there is a magnetic field that is all around us that we are connected to, that everybody else is connected to, and that we can magnetize things to us. We can also emit things, but we can magnetize things to us. And we can magnetize things easily. Like, I can order a book and I magnetize it to me. I bring it to myself. Um, or we can run around and try to collect things by grabbing them out of the 3D world, a physical world, or we can sit and energetically magnetize towards us. And this is a superpower, and it's something that I have been putting my focus on. What is mine will come to me by nature. Like, just now, I parked my car. This morning, every morning, I go through a whole. I do meditation, but then I go into thank yous, and also uh, like things that I am appreciative of. I mean, by thank yous, like thank you for my children, and thank you for my parents, and thank you for my abilities and my capabilities, and thank you for my talents, and thank you for providence, and thank you for making it easy, and all of these. And I go through a whole list of things, and lately I've been working on providence. Providence is something that, you do your God's work. You do what comes naturally to you. You are in your natural state of being, and what is yours will come to you. And I've been asking for abundance, and I kind of feel like I'm shifting into it. It's more like a shifting. It's like you can't go against yourself anymore, and your true self is starting to rise above the ego self. And when I just got here and I parked, I opened up my door and I go to step out and I look down and I see like paper under there's kind of like a dirt over there, and I see like this paper that looks familiar. It looks like money. And so sure enough, it was a 20 shekel bill that was mostly hidden under the dirt, but there was a little corner of it sticking up. So 20 shekels is not a lot. Yeah, it's worth maybe $6, $7, something like that, maybe in dollars. Um, but maybe the equivalent of what you could buy for $20 in the States, you could buy for 20 shekels here, maybe, depending on what you buy. Things have different costs. In the States, fruits and vegetables are far more expensive than they are here. But other things are far cheaper here than they are in the States. So it really depends on what you're going out to buy. And so that is an example of providence, of just, the universe giving me a sign that you are provided for. And the thing is that I had my last 20 shekels this morning and I went and bought a falafel and a cola with it. Embarrassed to kind of say, but yeah. Um, and and so like the universe gave me back exactly what I put out. So that was pretty cool. And those boxes that I sent today, it was really expensive to send them, but I know that the value of what was in the boxes is far, far greater, and it will cover me for a good couple months on, most of the products, that I don't have to worry about them running out of stock now during Christmas time and stuff. So that's also takes a load off my mind. And today I kind of gave myself the day. I still have to go back and straighten up the house and stuff, but because I was working until the middle of the night last night, so there's like stuff all over the place, all of my work stuff and pieces of boxes and stuff. But I feel good about what I did get out and what I sent. And I'm kind of letting myself be at ease today. But what I've been noticing is that also with this magnetizing thing, I was people watching. And I don't feel like I'm ready to talk about it yet. It's also because it hits me in kind of like a painful way. But there's things that I've seen in behavior, like, for instance, men that will make themselves presentable, come and put themselves in a situation and just sit there and wait for the female to come to them. And when you sit back and you watch people when they don't know that you're watching and they can't see that you see them, it's kind of, see, there's two sides of it. There's the side of, you could see the person as sitting there and magnetizing the woman in, sitting there as if they could care less, but what they're really doing is trying to draw the person towards them by making themselves available. But in the same place, it's also kind of tipping. First of all, it's making an uneven playground because it is making the woman be the vulnerable one in the situation. It is forcing the woman to come to them. So then the woman is the one that like wants it, not them. But when you're watching it from the side, you can kind of see the game. You can see that it's exactly the opposite. It's the male that's wanting it, but they're not putting themselves out there and not bringing themselves to the female. So they're kind of just presenting themselves in the field, presenting themselves in eye contact, and kind of allowing the woman to come to them. And then it makes the woman be in the vulnerable place. It makes the woman be, or it could be female or male or in any way, but what I was watching was males that put themselves in that place and to kind of draw the female to them. and but they make sure that they're in eyesight. They make sure that they look open and clear. And then the woman is under the impression that she's the one that's chasing. She's the one that wants it. And it puts her in a more vulnerable state, in the state of the chaser. When in fact, when you're watching it from the side, you can see the game. And it's kind of makes the ball game unfair. And not only that, it shows weakness in the male, because the male is not willing to put themselves out there. So first of all, they're not willing to be vulnerable, and if they're not willing to put themselves in a place of receiving any kind of rejection from the female. And they're also not willing to put themselves in a place where the female feels like she has any power in the situation, or that she has less power in the situation. Like if he comes to her, then it gives her power. And he doesn't have to be vulnerable. It's actually a weakness. He doesn't have to put himself into a situation where he might be like, what's the word? Rejected. It's for fear of rejection. And it's also flipping the tables to put his own self in a place of power. So it's kind of a little bit narcissistic, and and controlling. See, and it's not putting yourself truly out there. It's not truly putting yourself and making yourself vulnerable. It's not really saying what you want. It's sitting and trying. So I was looking at it as a way of, it's also powerful because you can sit there and you can magnetize in what you want in your existence, but it's a paradox of sorts, because it's powerful in that way, but it's also very weak in the other way of not being willing to put yourself out there, not being willing to become vulnerable, not being willing to um, um, you know, um, come fully out with yourself and say what you want. And there's so many games. There's so many games that people play. There's so many games that people play in relationships. And once I saw that pattern, I started seeing it over and over and over in men that are, even today, I had a situation when I was in town that there was a man who was obviously interested in me, but he wouldn't come and talk to me. And he kept on making himself available. He kept on putting himself and it was obvious. It was very obvious. And he kept on putting himself in my eye view and making himself available for me to come to him. And I saw this again. And there was part of me that was like, I wanted to go to him and say, I can see that you want to talk to me and that there's something that you want to say, because I feel like when we are drawn to somebody, when we are attracted to somebody, there is a reason for that attraction. We're attracted to people that have, and I can do a whole video about attraction. Attraction is when we feel that somebody else has keys for our own expansion, because our soul always wants to expand. When we meet somebody that has the keys for our expansion, and I think I already did a video about it, about attraction, then we are attracted to them. It's not always a male female kind of attraction. We're attracted to women, we're attracted to older people, we're attracted to younger people, we're attracted to all sorts of people for all sorts of reasons, but it is always because they have some kind of key for our personal expansion. because we're attracted to our own expansion, or we're attracted to mirrors. Sometimes there are mirrors that mirror ourselves back to us. Look, it just came right to me, so it's fine. It's mine. Came from the tree. Thank you. So there is a thing in allowing the universe to bring to me what is rightfully mine, but also there's the opposite side where you have to reach out and put yourself out there and make yourself vulnerable to be able to, you have to allow the other person, it has to be even. You have to allow the other person to know that you're vulnerable with them in order to trust them. So it has to be built on both sides. It can't be that one is sitting and constantly the other one is feeling like they're the only one in want and the only one in need. So one has to also come to the other. It can't just be all the time one-sided, because both sides don't grow from that. It grows lopsided. It'll grow, the relationship will grow with one always being an advantage, and the one that is an advantage, not really an advantage, because they are not putting themselves forth, so they're not growing in the place of vulnerability and going through all the trust issues that they have. Because in order to fully trust the other partner, you have to make yourself vulnerable in that person's eyes, or within that person's presence. Make yourself vulnerable so that that person can prove their trust to you. So it kind of has to work that way. And um, what was I saying about attraction? Why did we get on that subject? Because there was something that I was going through with that. I like what I just said about vulnerability, and that I like that what came through there. Um, so we're always attracted to, what is mine rightfully. Okay, so because it's a two-part. So what is mine will rightfully come to me. I will recognize. That was something that I realized. I don't have to chase after relationships. I don't have to look for it, or, oh, am I going to be attracted to this person and start checking them out? When I'm attracted to somebody, when I meet them, it hits me. I know that I'm attracted to them. I don't have to look for the attraction. So if there's a question there, then there's no question. All of the people that I have met that I've been extremely attracted to, I have known that I'm attracted to them from the get-go. People that I've met in videos, people that I've met, people that I haven't met, but that I've seen speaking, that are charismatic, that I'm drawn to. I know that I'm drawn to them. I don't have to, like, wait a minute, do I like this person? Do I not like this person? Um, and there's all sorts of different kinds of attraction to people too. I can be attracted um, to somebody's intellect. I can be attracted, and it doesn't mean that it comes down to the physical level. I can be attracted to somebody's energy because they're energetic compatible with me. I have a real wild streak. I have like this wild side to me. And sometimes when I meet somebody that has that wild streak to them, then we just hit it off, just like, but it's in that place, and it can be male or female, but it's only in that wild streak that we hit it off. It's a little wild genius streak that I have. I don't know if it has been ever come out to play in these videos. I have a serious side. I have a sense of humor, and sometimes I meet people that just tickle my sense of humor just like that. They like, when you meet somebody that is compatible with your sense of humor, you sense of human. Yeah, when you meet somebody that's compatible with your sense of human. But when you meet somebody that's compatible with your sense of humor, have you ever noticed how all of a sudden you become the funniest person in the world? That you can crack jokes just like that. I have a cousin like that we have that compatibility, and every time that we meet, it's just like our humor comes out, but he connects to a side of my humor that is like this super intelligent. That's what my twin does. He also connects to. It's raining a little bit. he also connects to my sense of humor like big, big time. Um, so I'm having a a book party here. I have my bag of chips that I'm going, and I have a drawing that I've been working on. I'll show you the drawing. I'm making myself. Sometimes I'll show you some of my drawings. I have like funky art. I have, and it always looks kind of the same. It's all like this heavy kind of, I'll see if I get anything else. Rare, rare. I don't know what that is. Let's see. But, in this book, Dudesley, it's just my sketchbook. I don't know, a rose. I'm passing over things I don't really want to show. Oh, this is really pretty. I like this. It's not finished. It's a pomegranate, and there's kind of like a mother and child in the center, but it's not finished yet. And let's see what else. See if I have anything else. All of my drawing is of faces. It's just a real quick sketch. But I do have these things that I do every once in a while when I'm inspired. I've done a few of them. But I've done a few of them that I take names of people that when I'm inspired by it, ooh, tree. I take names of people, and when I'm inspired, when I know them, it has to be somebody. I've done one for my twin. I've done one for my daughter. I did one for my friend, another girlfriend that had a birthday. I did one for her, and now I'm working on one for myself, which is I take my name, the name of the person. See, this says Shoshana Batshachal. That's my full name, my full given name when I was born. Shoshana is rose. It means a rose, but it's like the highest. It's like it's not a. It's a rose, like like a velvety rose. And Batshachal means daughter of the dawn, which I'm finding to be so. And these are all sorts of notes I made. So let me see if there's something here. That twin flame journey is only an igniter for the bigger thing, which is your spiritual awakening. Focus on the spiritual awakening. I wrote that to myself. And I had a real, it was like a dawning, like a real understanding. This twin flame journey is small. What is the bigger picture? And it's sometimes like now I feel like when I'm saying it, I feel pain coming up. I'm working on leaning into the pain and just letting him go. The last time that we were sitting here and we were having a conversation, all of the conversations that we have is leaning towards that I have to let him go. That's why in my videos, I've really, in my talking also, I've been giving it less and less power. I want it to leave out of my focus. I think I kind of want to do an energy cleansing, and because he's so vibrant in every aspect of my life, it's like he's involved in there somehow. He's always present with me in everything. I come here, the memory of him is here. It's like his essence is with me, his vibration is with me, his energy is with me. And we've never had any kind of intimate touch or which I could say is at this point a blessing, because I couldn't imagine the pain if we had. But I still feel like our energy is mingled together. And I feel his presence in everything and everywhere. And I feel like it's like I want to pull the energy apart. Sometimes I feel like I'm forgetting him. I'm forgetting what he looks like. I can still feel him, but I forget. I can like kind of hear his voice, but it's getting further and further away and fainter and fainter. And the chasing energy is, I'm starting to get more and more into the now, and I'm able to focus more and more on myself and my own spiritual journey. And I don't feel so much noise in my mind. But there are moments, you see. The old is breaking down to make room for the new. A man who doesn't sleep around is very attractive to women. It shows self control and respect both to himself and to the woman that he is with. Also, if a man doesn't sleep around and then he is with me intimately, I feel chosen. I feel like also like I got something that is valuable. A man that is that respects his own self and won't disrespect a woman. It means they won't be with her unless he chooses her. And that is super attractive, I think, both for women and for men. I have a whole list here of what I find to be attractive in men. Alchemize your emotions. Change your emotions using thought. Change your thought using emotions. So you can pull your thought with your emotions, and you can pull your emotions with your thought. So if you start going into an emotional place that you don't want to be in, or where you're, a low emotional vibration, you can, with your thought, you can figure out why you're feeling this, and you can alchemize it back out. You can do anything that you set your mind to as long as you believe it. You can do anything you set your mind to as long as you believe it. With belief is one of the most powerful things that there are. These are times of potential for change. All of the future from this point is open. The future can be manipulated and influenced. This is the time when many new ways of being and influencers will rise. Times of influence, all options are open. Because everything is breaking down and the whole world is kind of in uproar. I even here with the war, especially, and there's war all around the world, and there's change all around the world. In the States, nothing is the same as it was before the corona, before these last elections. Everything is changing. Their whole worlds are changing. And when there is immense change, people are going through their lives sleepwalking, sleepwalking, sleepwalking. Okay, one day turns into the next, and you kind of know, and you're going through the motions, and you kind of already know what your future is going to bring, and you already have seen it, and you're not thinking about it. It's already projected. But when there's immense change, then all of a sudden you wake up and you come into the now, and tomorrow is not absolute. Tomorrow isn't already chosen for you. So in these kinds of times, there people are searching and seeking and wanting to know what's next. What do I do tomorrow? How do I wake up tomorrow morning? What's going to be on the plate tomorrow? And when you come into a time like that, there is time for change. There's time for to influence. There's time to make a change. There is time for each of us individually to make a change in our own lives, but there's a time also for new influencers to rise and new ways of being to come and come into the new world. And on this twin flame journey, we are the leaders into the new world. We are the leaders that can enter into heaven on earth amongst so many that aren't in heaven on earth. It's going into a new dimension, and as we enter into that new dimension, we raise our own vibrations in order to enter into this new dimension. But we are also showing other people the way in, and showing how to do the mind work, and how to do the self work, and how to to release all the lower density levels of your being, and how to pass through your emotions and alchemize your emotions, and how to find these portals, and how to get into the now. And we are giving glimpses of this new world, so that people can feel it emotionally, that it is here, and that it is real, and that it is accessible, and that each of us can do it by going through our own selves. One of the books that I'm writing is a download that came all together all at once. I have pictures already drawn of it, and that book, I think at the end of this video, I'm going to put a little short video that I did at the beginning of the day in Tiberius, because it doesn't have enough standalone substance, but it does kind of show this day, a little bit of this morning, and also a little bit of Tiberius and what I was doing. Um, Rexy's over there eating something over there, so it's just kind of coming into the now and being in the now and showing people a new way of being, and that heaven is here. I'm in paradise. There's a war going on. There's shooting in the background. I don't think it's combat shooting. I think that it's practice shooting. There's a base over here or something. You can hear the rumbling of tanks going up the road. There's fighter jets that have been in the skies now for days on end. There's no relief of it. They're constant. And I think they're constant because they have to be flying, because of imminent danger. And and I'm sitting here by the spring, and my book came, and I'm excited, and I'm talking about, and I don't mean disrespect from it, because I know the terrors and the horrors, and I couldn't imagine being the stories that are coming out of the south of the country are horrific, and people's lives are being turned upside down. But amidst all of this is the power to make change, and in understanding that the old world has to break down. And in order for the old world to break down, it's like popping a pimple. You have to bring out all of the crap. All of the crap has to come up into the surface to be able to be sorted through, to be able to be like gone through. It's just like when you're going through the spiritual awakening, all of your own self crap has to come to the surface, and you have to be able to go through it. And it's painful. You have to go through it, but you have to go through it. It has to first come to the surface. And then once it comes to the surface, you can manage it. You can go through it. You can figure through it. You can decide what you keep and what you don't keep. But at least everything is out in the open, and you become like a slug. It's like a snail has its house around it, its shell, where it can go back into its shell. But when you're a slug, you're just completely open to the universe. You're completely open. And so on this spiritual journey, we have to become like a slug, where you're completely vulnerable to everything around you. You become completely open to all of the emotions, and all of the emotions of others as well, because it's like all of your emotions open wide up. I'm going to see if there's something else interesting here. I wrote down an idea of a video, how to get out of your head, which is a video that I want to do. Tricks, how to get out of your head, tricks for bringing yourself into the now. That should go together. How to get out of your head and tricks for bringing yourself into the now. That's a good idea for a video. We have natural internal clock that we can let go and flow into flow into it naturally if we stop trying to control with our mind. I get what I was saying there, but it's a big point. I don't want to get into it. Live in energy, perceive your life longer. Okay, so when you live in the dimension of energy, then you bend time, because when you're living according to time, you're running against time all the time. You're all the time running against time. Time is money. Do, 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 do. When you get into the flow of energy, time stands still, because you're living you're living in it's a different it's a different dimension. It's a different, you are living to in a completely different set of rules, and that is very interesting. Time is relevant and a matter of perception. We each perceive time differently. Time slows when you are in the moment, and that just is part of what I was saying before. And then this is the list of all the things that I find attractive in a man, and that is for a separate video. It's what I'm going to do a video about what women find attractive in men. But right now I'm going to finish this. I'm going to have some chips. I'm just going to enjoy myself here. So thank you for watching. So I'm just coming out of the bank. Good morning. And I was talking to the teller, and the teller, I asked him how long he's been working there, living there, practically living there. And he said for 16 or 17 years. And I look around in the bank, and it's a closed building with fluorescent lights, and he's sitting there all of the productive hours of the day. That is what he does. And we had a spiritual conversation about it, a long conversation about it. Yeah, I'm in Tiberias. And I asked him if he feels like he is fulfilling himself, and he said no. And he said that he already feels like in this lifetime he's giving up that hope. And I told him, as long as you're alive, you're alive. There's life in you. Don't give up on yourself. But I'm going to pause this now because I'm walking through a place with lots of people.